today I would be diving into college football. As for week 1, the big game of the week was, of course, Alabama and Florida State. I watched the game. The game, of course, it didn't really live up to the hype. Like, it was week 1, so I guess you really couldn't expect it to really live up to how big of a hype they were making it to be. And also, you have to think just Alabama always kind of, those real big hype games during the regular season, especially in the beginning, Alabama always kind of win those games in blowout fashion. So, what I really did, the outcome of the game was Alabama won 24-7. Their defense dominated. Their offense was not really all of that, but their defense was so dominant that, and their special teams. Their special teams really took over the game. The bad outcome from the game was Florida State starting quarterback DeAndre Francois got hurt. I think he tore his ACL, so he's out for the year. And a lot of people just really believed that Alabama was going to win the game, but Florida State was going to recover and make it to the college football playoff and possibly meet Alabama again, possibly beat Alabama, because they would have been better at the time going through the season, getting better as the season went along. So that was the big blow to that game, and really my 2 cents on it is that Alabama, like they are going back to the college football playoff. We'll see as the season go on, will they be able to get upset. I don't see no game that they really get upset in. The next game I'm going to talk about is Texas A&M UCLA. So as a lot of y'all know about that one, Texas A&M jumped out to a 44-10 lead, and UCLA came all the way back and won 45-44. So, it seems like every year Texas A&M always starts off the season like 5-0, 6-0, then they end the season like 8-5. So their coach Kevin Sumlin is already on the hot seat. So that game pretty much maybe just ended his job. Now they haven't fired him yet, but more likely unless Texas A&M wins out, beats Alabama, he's probably gone. As for that game, I really didn't get a chance to see that game because at the time I was watching Virginia Tech and West Virginia, and that was a pretty good game. Went back and forth. Virginia Tech won at the end, and of course I kept looking at the score, and Texas A&M blowing them out. So, and by the time I saw UCLA coming back, the other game, West Virginia, and Virginia Tech was so good that it was hard to turn the channel. And can't watch 2 games at once, so I just continued watching that game and watch the highlights of it. And last but not least, Tennessee, my team, Tennessee Volunteers, is my favorite team, so I will pretty much talk about them in every video. Them in Memphis, of course, everybody, most people watch the video would know, but I'm from Memphis. I live in Memphis. I grew up a Tennessee fan though, but I still like Memphis. No, I know they're rivals, but I like both teams. Just when they play each other, I'm Tennessee. I'm a diehard Tennessee fan. But Tennessee Georgia Tech, that had to be the most exciting game of the weekend. The way, if y'all watched Tennessee last year, all our games, their first game was basically what we did last year. It was, I don't know if my heart can take it the rest of this year. We'll see how it goes the rest of the year. But I know last year we had games where we kept coming back. We were down 14-9 and down 21-9. We come back and win, down 28-7, come back, taking overtime. We had all those crazy games where it was just weird. And that was once again one of those games, down 28-14. Not playing well at all, quarterback. And I still don't believe in our quarterback, that he's pretty good at all. So, but we came back and won in double overtime, 42-41. So, that's my recap for the week 1. And now I'm finna dive into week 2. So week 2, I just gonna dive in. It'll be very little about Tennessee. We played Indiana State. Supposed to be an easy win, and we made the easy win. I actually forgot to find the score. I didn't get a chance to see the Louisville, North Carolina game, but of course I see highlights, heard about Lamar Jackson. He won Heisman Trophy last year. So I saw the stat line. I know he had 6 touchdowns. So I think 3 passing, 3 rushing. 4 passing and 2 rushing, something along those lines. He had like 300 some yards passing, over 100 yards rushing. For the second straight week in a row, he's done that. 300 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. And he said he's the only quarterback in FBS in college football history to post that stat line back-to-back games. So similar to things he done last year. Just about highlights I could tell he's gotten a little bit of passing. His accuracy is a little bit on point. So I know they haven't been talking about him, and they have been talking about Heisman because last year he started off well, then he kind of tailed off towards the end of the season, but he was so far ahead of everybody else that he still won Heisman. So I know a lot of analysts haven't really mentioned him about winning Heisman this year, but after that game, he's back at the forefront of winning the Heisman once again. But we'll see what happens, and he has a big game coming up this week that I'll talk about in a couple minutes. Next, Oklahoma and Ohio State. This was the primetime game, the biggest game of the week. Oklahoma and Ohio State, two top 5 teams, two teams expected to win their conference and battle to get in the college football playoff. They played last year at Oklahoma, and Ohio State blew them. Yeah, they blew them out. Yeah. I mean, the final score was like 41-24 or something like that. Rule 1 no contest. Ohio State, I know Big Ten is known as a big, tough defensive conference, which is what Ohio State plays in. Oklahoma plays in the Big 12, where they're known for all offense and no defense. So that was kind of expected. So going to this year's game, kind of thought maybe the same thing, but Oklahoma defense showed that they're capable of helping them out a whole lot, helping the offense out. And their quarterback, Baker Mayfield, was also a Heisman finalist the last 2 years. He definitely was a finalist last year. And the year before, he was in the conversation. I don't know if he actually was an actual finalist. So he's another Heisman Trophy candidate. He came through in the big way. I know it's a lot of hoopla going after the game about how he ran across the field with the Oklahoma flag and posted in the middle of the field of Ohio State's field because they played at Ohio State this year, but it really wasn't a big deal in my eyes. I mean, you win, they can't do nothing about it. It's nothing. And the flag didn't stand up straight because Ohio State plays on turf, so it wasn't like you play on grass and it actually sticks. So I remember I can't remember the final score of that game either. I know it was close and Oklahoma kind of ran away with it at the end, towards the end. I think it was around lines of 31-13, 31-20, something along those lines. And the last game, I remember this final score because I watched the end of it. It was on at the same time as the Oklahoma-Ohio State game, but I kind of watched it simultaneously. Georgia and Notre Dame. Georgia ended up winning 17-16. It was a pretty good game, back and forth. Georgia backup quarterback was playing, and he might be the new starting quarterback. That starting quarterback got hurt last week, and I know they a lot of things going on, talking about maybe the backup was better anyway, and he showed up. I think he's a true freshman, either true freshman or a redshirt freshman. Either way, he's a freshman, and he came through in a big way at Notre Dame. And Notre Dame coach is also on the hot seat, so ain't no telling what effects that game will have on the rest of the season, what happens with that situation. But that was a huge win for Georgia, huge road win. They are in my division, Tennessee. We are in the same division, SEC in the East Division. So we'll see them in a couple weeks. So you'll definitely hear about them again. And one last game, Clemson Auburn. I really watched this game. It was on the same time as Georgia and Notre Dame and Oklahoma Ohio State. I was kind of flipping back and forth through all 3 games, but I mostly watched Clemson Auburn. It was basically a defensive battle. Clemson won 14-6. It was 14-6. I think the score was 14-6 at halftime or the beginning of the third quarter, 1-2. So it was straight defense from that point forward. And I mean, Clemson just won a hard-fought game. And that leads into this upcoming week for the big games of this week. The headliner this week is Clemson and Louisville. Last year, they went back and forth, and Clemson won at the end. And, of course, they had Deshaun Watson at the time, who's now in the NFL with the Houston Texans. And, Clemson won that championship. So that game kind of spearheaded and helped them on to winning the national championship. So this year, I guess Lamar Jackson. Last year, the game was at Clemson also. So this year, the game's at Louisville. And Lamar Jackson is back. He just wanted revenge. So I guess I get my picks for what I expect for these games. I haven't seen, like I said, I've seen just highlights of Louisville once again. Well, I saw that first game, a little bit of that first game against Purdue. And they didn't look too impressive, but obviously they got better last week against UNC. And, of course, just one game, first game of the season, who just looks that great anyway. So, my prediction with Clemson having a new quarterback after Deshaun Watson, he's pretty good, but he hasn't been in these big game moments as Lamar Jackson has. So based on just everything else, Clemson has a really good defense, but also Auburn hasn't had a good offense in a couple of years, so that could be misleading also. So I would just go and say I'm gonna pick Louisville to win, and kind of the same type of shootout they had last year. Two games I'd be talking about or my teams. First, I talk about Tennessee and Florida. So last year we finally beat Florida. We were down 21 and came back and won 38-21, and that was the first time we had beat Florida in 11 years. And I remember the last time we beat them until last year. So, in the 2 years prior to that, we should have beat Florida. We had the game won in the fourth quarter, and we flat out blew both games, like back-to-back years. And it was just taking a toll on all Tennessee fans around. And last year, like, it was about to be the same way, and we pulled out the comeback. Like I said, I don't know how you go from being down 21-9 to winning 38-21. So you go from being blown out to blowing the team out. So, what I've seen from both Tennessee and Florida is kind of, with Florida, the last couple of years, Florida haven't had a good offense, and once again, they don't have a good offense. They have only played one game against Michigan due to Hurricane Irma canceling all the games through Florida all teams from Florida who had a game in Florida. All games got canceled last week, so their game, they was going to have an easy opponent anyway, but their game got canceled. So to rush out the Michigan game, they did have 10 players suspended, so we kind of on the fence, don't know where those players be back or not. But just off of the years past, and how their quarterbacks look, no matter who all was suspended or not, Florida still doesn't have a good offense. So, and the question would be, will that defense hold up against Tennessee again? And judging by our quarterback, they probably can. So, I don't know really what to expect in this game. I would say it would be a lower scoring game. This would be about a 17-14, a real low scoring game. And last but not least, Memphis. I will probably be at this game. So Memphis, we're playing UCLA. So UCLA, we saw the first game, they were getting blown out, and they made a comeback. Huge comeback. And this past weekend, they blew out, I forgot what they played, and they blew out their opponent. And Josh Rosen had like 5 touchdowns. So Memphis has only played one game, and that game didn't really look too well against Louisiana Monroe. 137-29. We didn't pass well or not, but that was the Hurricane Harvey effects coming through Memphis that day. I know we had like tornado warnings all around, and a lot of people was wondering why Memphis even played the game, why they didn't reschedule that game. And last week, another hurricane affecting their game. The whole state of Florida got canceled. We were supposed to play that UCF. So that game got canceled. So Memphis had run into some hurricane problems, to say the least, with their games. So we really got to go based off of last year with Memphis. We still got a good running game with Henderson and Patrick. Then we also have Riley Ferguson as the quarterback. He played really well last year. We still got Anthony Miller, receiver. So ain't no telling how this game will go. UCLA's played 2, Memphis is on the play 1. Like I said, I would be at this game. So I really don't know what to expect. I know if I had seen Memphis play in better conditions the first game and got to play in the second game, or either or, maybe I could really gauge what I can say from this game. So I basically just got to go off what I've seen from UCLA and what I've seen from Memphis last year. So if I had to pick, I would have to say UCLA will win. And it would definitely be high scoring, because both of these teams' defenses, Memphis, they have a good defense last year. They don't expect to have good defense this year. And they had a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball get hurt in the first game. So this is it for basically the week 1, combined week 1 and week 2 recap of college football, and the preview for week 3. So this is the plan going forward. Every Monday or so, maybe even Sunday, I'll be watching NFL games, but I might go ahead and do one during the NFL game, go on hit the record. So every week I would try and drop a video about college football the previous week, what happened the previous week. A recap of the previous week, along with a preview of the next week. Basically, just the big games, combine them together.